You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Yeah, I love that. How much is a trillion? Well, just think, the universe is only 6,000 years old. 13.7 billion. That's still a tiny little bitty number compared to the annual defense budget, dollars per years anyway. Interesting stuff. All right, so I'm talking with Winslow T. Wheeler. He's at the Independent Institute, and I'm looking at his paper at the Center for Defense Information. What did the Rumsfeld-Gates Pentagon do with $1 trillion? It's about our reduced military force at a vastly increased cost. And Winslow, I'm reminded of, I think it's a fact, that it was September 10th, 2001, that Donald Rumsfeld gave a speech and said, I guess over the last 10 years or so, the Pentagon couldn't account for approximately $3 trillion that went to who knows what. And this was, I think, a shot across the bow of the generals from the Rumsfeld thing about there were, I guess, I'm sure know much more about this than me, but there were 3 or 4 major choices before them about which way to transform the military, and Rumsfeld had picked his lighter, faster, in and out, and then subcontract the rest sort of method of doing things. And I think he leaked this, or gave a speech about this missing $3 trillion in order to, strike a blow against the generals the day before everything fell apart there. And I was just wondering if you can shed any light on that incident, and then get back to, as you're talking about in your paper here, explain to us the shape of the U.S. military force, such as it is, for this, less than it was for the increased cost here.
Right. Rumsfeld did give that speech on September 10, 2001. The conventional wisdom is that he was on his way out as a pretty abject failure as Secretary of Defense to get any of those things under control. And
already, after only 9 months, they were already talking about getting rid of him?
Yeah, yes. The word was that he was on the way out, and that was sort of his hostile swan song. But a lot of things he said were very correct, that the bureaucracy in the Pentagon was huge and bloated and out of control in the sense of growing. It was very much in control in the sense of running the Pentagon. Rumsfeld didn't run it as they had done under the Clintons. The bureaucracy and the Joint Chiefs got pretty much everything they wanted out of both the Clinton presidency and out of Congress. But when 9/11 hit, Rumsfeld was rejuvenated and stuck around for another 5 years, and the defense budget became the favorite of a lot of money spenders. As I said, not just the $1 trillion spent for the war, but in addition to that, a second $1 trillion added to the non-war parts of the Pentagon budget that made our armed forces smaller and older, if you can believe it. Sounds counterintuitive, but when the cost of military equipment per unit rises faster than the budget is growing, as a matter of fact, it grew much faster than the budget was growing. In other words, you can't replace the inventory you've got as it ages, and so you're buying fewer and fewer items, and the inventory becomes, on average, older and older. And at the same time, it gets smaller and smaller. Those are trends that have been around for a long time, well before Rumsfeld, and sad to say that Mr. Gates is doing nothing that will reverse that course.
Tell me about the Navy. How many carrier battle groups are there?
There's 11 carriers. There was a debate last year about whether to reduce that to 8.
There's only 7 Cs.
Well, they're not all deployed at the same time. They rotate in and out of port, and they rotate in and out of overhaul and maintenance. And you need a base of about 11 or 12 to have about, I guess it's 4 or 5 deployed at any one time. And so it's the same thing with, for instance, submarines. Not all 50 are at sea at any one time.
When they have a new generation of submarines that cost, what, $20 billion or $10 billion a piece or something?
$3 billion. The Virginia-class submarine, on average, is a little bit less than $3 billion, about 2.5, I believe. It's a huge submarine. It's about 10,000 tons, I believe. And they came up with a typically port-driven way of constructing them. One half of them are for each submarine. One end is built in Norfolk, Virginia, and the other end is built in Connecticut. And they literally joined them together. They couldn't bring themselves to actually competing the yards for producing these submarines. Rather than competition, they simply split the baby in half, and that way each yard is at liberty to run up the costs without the danger of losing the contract to another source. Amazing.
Well, I can't imagine that Congress is going to hold some hearings and get to the bottom of that or anything, right?
No, they're totally disinterested in getting to the bottom of things like that, because they know that they're the primary reason why that asinine approach to building submarines is being followed.
Amazing. Well, that's why Eisenhower wanted to call it the military-industrial congressional complex, but then I guess he thought, well, that would sound like he was biased in favor of the presidency against the Congress, so he didn't want to make it sound like that, but certainly that's the form of the thing. Not that the presidency is any less guilty. And now I'm sorry, because I'm sure this is redundant from previous interviews, Winslow, but I'd like to get your answer to something that I learned from an Air Force guy I know. And I put to him, hey, isn't it the case from what I saw on the Discovery Channel that America's F-15 Eagles, never even mind the rest of them, could, nuclear weapons aside, dominate the airspace of any country on Earth in an afternoon, and that they can kill all of China's MiGs from 300 miles away, and that there's just no need whatsoever for a F-35 or a F-22. That's what he told me. We could dominate the world with F-15 Eagles from now on, the ones we already have.
Well, I think it's a mistake to focus on the technology. The F-22 Raptor and the F-35 so-called Lightning are real failures in terms of designs, but it's not the physical hardware that in the history of air-to-air warfare has decided who wins and who loses. It's the pilot and the competence of the pilot, how well he's trained, and whether he's got that touch that the successful pilots have. Far more important than commanding who wins and who loses is the quality of the pilot, especially if he can find tactics to surprise the other side. And I'd be much more comfortable saying that if we trained our pilots better than anybody else, we'd have nothing to worry about. Sad truth is that we train our pilots far less than we used to and far less than we should. A F-22 pilot gets only a very measly 10 hours per month in the air in actual air combat training in the air in a real airplane. In the 70s, we used to train our pilots, give our pilots about 25, 30 hours per month. And one of the sad consequences of these hyper-expensive hardware we've been buying is that it raids money from all kinds of places. And one of those places is training.
Mm-hmm. Well, but to the point that, well, and I guess I wasn't specific enough. What I saw on the Discovery Channel, which my Air Force friend confirmed to me, was that over the years, the F-15 has evolved in major ways, and that the nose cone of that thing is crammed with so many instruments, they can kill you by looking at you from over 15 horizons away, or whatever it is. That the point is that, I mean, you're emphasizing pilot training, but I'm saying the planes we got are good enough that with that pilot training, we're not in danger of any other Air Force. That's the point, right?
Well, there's no Air Force that's a threat to us. there's no reason to rush into.
We're not even threatened by another Air Force over their countries, are we?
Pardon me?
We're not even threatened by another Air Force over their airspace.
Correct, yep.
Yeah, wow, that's world hegemony. I don't know how benevolent it is, but right on. Well, thank you so much for your time and your insight. Everybody, please go look at what did the Rumsfeld-Gates Pentagon do with $1 trillion? It's at cdi.org. Thank you very much for your time, Winslow.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Everybody's also at independent.org and at counterpunch.org. See you tomorrow.